You hired a nanny for a doll?
Where did you find her?
She is wonderful with Jericho. And if my baby trusts her, so do I.
How much did those boys tell you about what happened?
What if she wakes up? What if she remembers?
Congratulations on the show. It's amazing. I just binge watched the whole thing because you just can't get enough of it. And well, I have to say that most of, oh, you're welcome. And I have to say that most of it has to do with your work, because I believe that when it comes to horror flicks or horror TV shows, production design is one of the most important things, because it helps create the tension between the characters, between each and every scene. Everything is very important. And I wanted you to tell me a little bit what inspired you to create the house the way it is, and especially Leanne's bedroom, which is very different from the rest of the house, right?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. You know, when I first talked with Knight early on, he made it very clear that the house is obviously a character in the film or in the TV show, but needed to feel authentic and needed to feel as if we weren't forcing the story to be told in a set. So we had very specific ideas of what the house needed to accomplish and who this family was, which then kind of led me down the path of which locations and which way to lean in on the architecture and you know, the location of the house in Philadelphia. I was also looking for, you know, the sense of being claustrophobic and having the ability to kind of shoot from, you know, many different angles within that house to be able to, you know, give the cinematographer some framing, you know, key frames and be able to hide and have, you know, that cat and mouse throughout the house that we do. As we started getting up into Leanne's room and having a different feel to that floor entirely, and that, you know, in season one, we hadn't introduced an attic yet. So her room was, and Sean's office were kind of the top of the house. We decided to narratively tell a story through the lack of attention given to that part of the house, as if, you know, Sean and Dorothy didn't use that part, and that there was, you know, maybe in the future, they would maybe continue their remodel and their revamp up, you know, to the rest of the house. So it allowed me, by choosing those moments, it allowed me to play with her room in a way that was a bit of a time capsule, and something that was exciting for me to be able to play off, because the rest of the house is so properly done and so tastefully done that I was able to have introduce a new character on her floor.
And it's really nice because we really have that feeling that the room is apart from the house. And I am really curious about two specific things from the show: the doll and the placenta. The doll, was that doll really a reborn doll? Like, in the placenta, was the placenta real, a real placenta?
So the reborn doll, the doll itself was crafted by an artist here in Philly that she wouldn't really, you know, she became, we became a client of hers, and she had done proper dolls before, but she kind of hesitated to say she's a reborn doll maker. She was a doll maker that has taken her craft to the far extreme for almost the sake of artistry for herself, and she didn't really care who or what people were asking for the dolls for. So when we brought her in to talk with her early on, we were saying, like, do people do this? And we were just so intrigued by the idea of it. And she was like, you know, to be honest with you, I'm sure they do, but that's not why I do it. You know, she started as someone in her garage that made little figurines that were really lifelike, and someone said, you should try making a real baby. And it just grew to the point where it was just like this, cottage industry for her. And so, is it a real reborn doll? I guess you could consider it a real reborn doll. When you hold it, it feels real. When you lay it down, or when you swaddle it, you definitely have a sense of respect for it. And it was always weird when we would pick it up. You would never pick it up like you would a rag doll or anything. It was always, alive or not, you treated it with respect and you set it down properly. And for anybody that's held a real baby, and the neck of it, and everything just felt really precious.
And what about the placenta?
The placenta was a placenta, but not obviously a human placenta. So we have the ability to push reality a little bit on this show. So there was, it's more of a tissue at that point. But we've all had fun with Drew, our chef, on the show, because we're always like, what are you doing? And what is that,
That's nice. And was M. Night Shyamalan involved closely to the production design? And did he have any specific aspect he wanted to see on the show, like an object or something in a particular way?
Not specifically. When Knight and I have worked together in the past, and we have a bit of a shorthand with one another. So, just a few conversations with him, and obviously reading the script, which he played a huge part in, which is very much different in a lot of shows or movies. The director that comes on doesn't necessarily have the script is not their own. So when you read a script written by Knight, a lot of the cues are coming from that and don't need to be spoken by him. So you can really use that as a compass, driving the design, the scale, all of that. And then once I'd come up with an idea, I'd run it by him and make sure that I was on track, or if he had any notes or color tones, and where I wanted to push other departments with the designs that I was coming up with, and whether he was cool with all of that. So specifically, he didn't have any huge cues, as to, he allows me to run for a bit, and then dials me back if I get going too far.
We have to protect ourselves.
They've been watching us.
Who are they? What do they want with us? Why are you not frightened? Of you? Of her?
Tell me where he is!
I want to see her get what she deserves.
This is too far.
Nothing is too far.